Okay, yeah. So mistake number three was what's this thing? A place to stay. Okay. I wanted my own place. I can't believe these people, me, I want my own space. So what I did was I moved out from my friend's house. So guys, we were living in harmony with my friend, we didn't even fight. She's such a good person. But I just felt like, she got her own space. Why must I get my own place? No ways of getting my own place. And then I got my own place. So because now, my salary is not so much left because already, the car is taking a lot. No, I actually got a place before I got a car. But I'll explain. So I went and I got a place and I wanted like my own space, my own place. So I got like a very expensive bachelor in a safe but not so safe place. It was safe inside the building but not safe outside the building. So with that, I didn't know that when you get a place, you need to pay deposit. You see, I didn't know that stuff. So I was so in a rush, guys. I was in a rush to leave my friend's place to the point where I was like, it's fine. I'll just make a plan. So I left her place and I got a place to stay and I paid deposit, which was a lot of money. So I think so I didn't know that also when you get your own place, you need to buy or pay for water, you need to pay for electricity, and then you need to pay for water, for storage. There's storage and there's been what, and then you must pay rent on top of that. Yeah. Okay. There I was paying for that stuff. So accommodation used to cost me about, how much was my accommodation? It was a bachelor. It wasn't such a big place. It was just a bed. A bachelor, it's just a bed. So I think it was 3.7 for the bachelor, and electricity I'd spend about 500 rand because I was living alone, and the water was about 300 rand, and the storage was about 150 rand there, and then there was food, I needed to buy food every single month again to eat. So now I was spending a lot of money on that because we have to eat, and then I noticed that when I was moving out of my friend's place, I didn't have a bed. So then obviously that's when the credit card came in and I used the credit card to buy the bed and to buy the fridge. Guys, please note, I was not saving for these things. I wasn't saving for them because I was in a hurry. I was not patient. I was in a hurry to get all these things. So I got a bed, I got a fridge, I got a microwave. And just those purchases were a lot considering that I didn't save for them. And then there I was living, my life, but then I would be so broke. After that, I would not have anything. Hence the credit card, I wouldn't have anything. I wouldn't even have enough to save. Because when I got like my second salary, I told myself, no, let me save 500. But because everything got too expensive, I canceled that, that investment account that I had, where I was just putting away 500 rand, and I ended up tapping into it and withdrawing it because I did not have any money left. So then that's when I ended up living from credit card to credit card and paycheck to paycheck. And that is not financial freedom, so that was just like a mess. Looking back, I wish I had made better decisions, but it is what it is. So I want you to actually learn from that. So what I want, so the purpose of this video is for me to just let you know that once you start working, you need to have a budget, get a budget, sit down, see how much you actually get paid, and see how much you get paid, sit down and budget accordingly. Get a place closer to work. If you want to buy a car, for instance, don't necessarily live too far from work. Get a place closer to work. If the place is closer to work, like for instance, I worked in Sandton, they're very expensive. Get a roommate. You can get 2 or 3 roommates and share an apartment. They call them housemates. They don't call them roommates. Apparently, roommates is varsity. Get a housemate. And live with them. That way you're spending half of the amount and you're still comfortable, you still have your own room, you get to share the electricity, you get to share the rent. The only thing that maybe you might not share is your food. You get to share the fridge. And most of the time when you get like a housemate, you find that sometimes they already have a fridge, so you just use their fridge or use their washing machine. For instance. So yeah, so do that, and don't rush to buy a car. You will buy your car, you will buy it, save enough money to buy a car so that your car repayments are not a lot of money. I've seen people buy very expensive cars, guys. Like, even our own managers don't drive those cars. And then I started noticing, bana ba ompiet, my ompiet kids, they didn't drive the most expensive cars, and I'd be like, but why don't they drive such expensive cars? And I asked them, like, why don't you buy such an expensive car? And they'd be like, oh, no ways, we're not spending a lot of money on a car. No, it loses value and it's a lot of maintenance anyway. So already when you're buying a big car, you need to take it to service. That's another thing that I didn't even buy an expensive car, but just taking it to service was a lot of money, because just to service my car, you spend, how much is service? Like 3,000 Rand for my car. So imagine if you're driving, a very expensive car, how much the service is. And I didn't know that even when you buy a car, there's tires that you need to maintain. You need to buy tires, you need to buy these things. So if I had saved, if I had just saved, I would buy the car, have enough money for deposit, and I wouldn't even have taken, a 6-year repayment, guys. Like, 6 years. 6 years is a long time, if I just had saved, I wouldn't even have taken 6 years to pay off a car, where after 4 years of using that car, you're already pushing it, with that car. And so the flatmate and the credit card, guys, be careful of the credit card. People, it's real out there, and I remember some guy once told me that stay away from a credit card, because you'll never get out of debt, because you're gonna think it's extra money, even though it's not. It is debt. And somebody might argue and say, no, Tanzalo, debt is good because you don't get taxed on debt, so use a credit card, it doesn't get taxed. But it has interest. Don't forget that a credit card has interest. So at the end of the day, you end up paying that interest, especially when you start working. Only then, maybe when you are more stable and you understand your finances correctly, you can maybe get a credit card, but don't rush it in the first year of starting to work, in the first 2 years of starting to work, because you'll end up you'll be stuck and you'll find yourself in a position where you can't even leave the job. You find that you don't even like what you do, but because you are in, you've gotten yourself all these things and you're in so much debt, you can't even get out. You're not happy, but you can't get out because you can't afford to get out. So you end up staying in that job that's not giving you satisfaction, where you are not advancing in your career because of the debts, So just be careful of that. And just, before I close off, I just want to talk about my friend. So I had a friend, very close friend of mine. And what she did was, she resisted the peer pressure of buying cars, getting your own apartment, staying alone, and doing all these things. Instead, she saved. So when we got cars, she didn't get a car. She continued to use public transport, and she saved. And then when we were living alone, she got a flatmate. And she didn't necessarily, when she started off, she didn't stay in the most expensive place. She was using taxis. So to her, she thought, no, let me stay close to the taxi rank, and then I'll just catch a taxi to work. And obviously, when I start understanding my money correctly, then I'll move and be closer to work. When she just starts understanding, her finances correctly. So then she moved from where she was staying closer to the taxi rank, and she got a place closer to work where she walked to work. And she saved more. And then this friend of mine, she found herself in a situation where she didn't like her job. So then, because she didn't have like a lot of responsibilities, she was able to leave her job effortlessly. She was able to resign without guilt, resign without worry, and she left her job to find a better job. And now she has money. She has money because she's been saving, and she was even helping out at home. She'd take that salary and help out at home. So yeah, so just learn from my friend, and learn from my mistakes. When you start working, when you graduate from work, you don't have to now live this lavish life so fast. Take your time. You will get there. You will drive your car. You will drive your fancy car. Take your time. And when you start working, prioritize what's important to you. Get yourself a place to stay. If at home, for instance, they're struggling, send money back home. Help them out. And when you are helping them, you're helping them. You're breaking that. A friend of mine told me that when you help at home, you're actually breaking the cycle of them becoming dependent on you. Because when you help at home, you're helping at home, right? For instance, and you're breaking that cycle. When your brother or sister finishes, then it's two people helping at home. It's one less person dependent on you, And when two people help at home, it's another person less dependent. So it just breaks that, that poverty cycle when you do that. So guys, that is me. I'm so sorry that this video is long, but I just felt like I should talk about, mistakes that I made when I started working. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'm so sorry for the data. I should try to keep my videos short. But this one, it was relevant. And yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know